Delta team, you are cleared to engage.
Greetings and salutations. This is Maze's Realm once again, and this is my 4th episode of my Conquering Face-Off series. Now, the reason why I haven't posted any episodes recently of this series is because the new maps were just released not too long ago for face-offs. So I wanted to play them and basically gather as much information as I possibly could to give you guys tidbits into how you can conquer the new face-off maps. Now I'm going to be covering the first face-off map of the 3 that were just released for the month of June. If you have Xbox Live and Elite Premium. So this map is Intersection. Now, Intersection plays very, very well. There's a lot of versatility to the map. There are a lot of locations on the map, even though it's very small. That's probably the most, I guess, engrossing map for face-offs that has been released yet. As opposed to all the other maps that have been released, like Erosion and Ground, where there's a lot of verticality to them, this map is basically the streets and the buildings. So the verticality is very visual. It's not necessarily the territory that's vertical, it's the buildings themselves, and it's very linear and straightforward that way. So that being said, the way you set up to engage your enemy in this map is very, very, very fast-paced in comparison to the other ones. So with that type of fast-paced gameplay, you have to have perks that complement the environment and your playstyle, and on top of that, the other person's playstyle, because adaptability is everything on face-offs, and adaptability plays a huge part in this map in particular. So that being said, I'm going to jump right into the perk setups that really complement this map very, very well. And it also boils down to the primary weapon choice that you pick as well. As you see here, I'm using the Scar L. I'm using it with the 2 attachment proficiency, and I'm using it with suppressor and extended mags. Now, for the perks, this is very, very crucial. I really thought of what perks I could use to complement every aspect of this map as best as I could, and still be able to put up a fight, obviously. So the perks that I chose were Sleight of Hand, Assassin, and Sit Rep. Obviously, all those perks are pro, so the pro variants really help you with the environment, especially. Sit Rep Pro on this map is absolutely essential in my opinion. The reason for that is that the sound in this particular map is very, very incredible. It's very useful. You can hear their footsteps on any part of the map because it's all concrete and wood. So their footsteps will be extremely loud. Even if they have dead silence, you can still hear their footsteps when they're coming up behind you. So that is a perk that will be useful to you in the defensive role, and that's why I recommend that. For your offensive perk, Sleight of Hand on your first tier slot will definitely help in winning these engagements, because there's a lot of cover. So you could go in and out of cover, reload very quickly when the enemy doesn't expect it, and then engage the enemy again. So there's like an endless amount of bullets that are going towards your enemy because of Sleight of Hand Pro. And that's exactly why I use extended mags as well, so the reloads are not as frequent, and when I do have to reload, they're very, very quick. So Sleight of Hand is a must. Now, obviously, Assassin goes without saying that it's a perk that is very defensive as well, because if they manage to get a UAV somehow, by them using Hardline, for example, and they kill you twice, it will, it will protect you from that. So it's just as a precautionary measure that perk is very, very useful. Now, of course, Specialist is the strike package that I'm recommending for this map, simply because since there is a lot of cover and there is a lot of ways that you can get flanked, you're not going to be building up very, very long kill streaks. Even assault kill streaks are difficult to achieve in this map. So definitely keep in mind that Specialist is the way to go in this map in particular. So for my Specialist perks, I'm using Scavenger for my first unlock. For my second unlock, I use Hardline because the Scar gets a lot of assists, and it will help you, to the next point streak that you have on the list. And then, of course, you've got the one and only Recon perk that is absolutely very useful in this map. It's so useful because there are a lot of cars and a lot of, places that you can basically deal damage to the enemy, and they will show up on your mini-map. And Recon is just that perk that is very, very useful, so I threw that on there on my Specialist strike package to help with that. Now, because the map is very versatile with the the points of cover and whatnot, this building that I'm holding down right now is probably the most useful for knowing where your enemy is spawning. And it's just a really good building to hold down. So those are the tidbits that I have for this new map, Intersection, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be covering the next map.